Hey guys, I'm currently cleaning up from this morning's work. I got up early this morning so that I could be done before the hottest part of the day. It is only, it's like 87 degrees right now underneath this canopy. Just wiping some stuff down. So what I'm going to do now, and as with pretty much I think all the videos in the future, I'm going to do this video and it's going to go up on Patreon first as a private link, then it's going to come back down, just like I did with the knife making video that I'm sure some of you, or knife sale video that I'm sure some of you guys have seen. I'm just cleaning up. But what we're going to talk about today is, I've had people ask me, so I've done a couple videos where I had this knife out and people are like, oh, what's that? That looks, and I've told them it's a maker's choice, and they're like, what's a maker's choice? And so I wanted to kind of explain it, because what a maker's choice is and why I think Ferrum Forge is not the only people that do maker's choice, because I don't 100% believe that a lot of these custom knives that people are calling custom knives truly custom. So I'll explain that right now, or I'll explain that after. We'll look at the knives first. So my friend Matt was kind enough the other day to leave me with his entire roll of Ferrum Forge knives, sans one, which is a maker's choice, but it doesn't need to be in there. There's enough that I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. So I know there's some of you that already do know, but there's gonna be some of you that are like, oh, that makes sense, I get it now. So, all right, give me a minute, clean this up, get everything laid out, and we'll shoot it. I'm gonna shoot it out here because it's actually cooler out here than it is in my kitchen, even with some fans. All right, I'm back. I've got everything laid out. Now let me start off by saying that the maker's choice knives for Ferrum Forge are basically, this is a standard model Master Blaster, right? Still pretty elaborate, really nice. They always amazing knives. And this is a maker's choice Master Blaster. What you're getting is, you're basically getting this knife with the same hardware and everything that's just been done the way Elliot wants. And that's what maker's choice, it's his choice. And the way it started was, back in the day, here a few years ago, they had a customer reach out to them and say that, hey, I bought one of your knives, but I would like to pay extra for you just to take it in and make it a one-of-a-kind piece. And Elliot's an artist, and he had been a custom knife maker for a long time before he decided to step into the mid-tech slash, sorry, I'm trying to even everything out, mid-tech slash production realm. And so he started doing runs of 200 versus just one single knife that was unique and individual. And then, so he took those things that he had been doing in custom knives, and he said, well, you know, I like to engrave titanium. I can apply that to a handful of the knives and make it a pre-purchase item where you purchased a spot. Now, you didn't know what you were going to get, and so you would get a really intricately unique piece that's a piece of art. So like I said, this is my maker's choice Master Blaster, and then this is a regular Master Blaster. And you can see pocket clip's different, some of the stuff's different, and we'll look at it more, but you basically, the nice thing was, if you couldn't get in on a maker's choice, you could get one of these that's basically the same knife without the aesthetic without all the embellishments. I mean, they were still attractive. And your knife would still be every bit functionally as good as a maker's choice. It was not a different knife. It was the same knife that had just been completely modified aesthetically by Elliot, hand engraved, and each one was 100% different. So we're going to turn the camera around, we're going to look at these, and we will talk about the intricacies that are in these and why I think other companies are making, that'll be at the end, why I think other companies are calling their customs, but they're not, calling their knives custom, but they're not, they're maker's choice. So I will tell you that there are 2 of these knives up here, 3 of these knives up here actually, of the 6, that were not part of the original production run. And that would be my Maker's Choice Master Blaster, which was done after the run, significantly after the run was complete. And it was purchased as a gift, but basically they told Elliot, go to town, do something crazy, Mike will love it. So it was still a Maker's Choice. This Mordax that has been buoyed and engraved is not part of the original run. Matt found a Mordax and said, I want this to be a Maker's Choice. And then this knife here, this left-handed Stinger XL, was done after as well. And it was Matt who had ordered a knife and said, hey, I want it to be special. I want a Maker's Choice. So every once in a while there's stuff like that. But so some of these knives are lefties because Matt is a lefty. But I'm going to turn around. We'll take a look at each one individually. Get them all turned around. And I will set the camera so we can look at it. Now there's a duplicate up here because Matt and I own one of the same knives. Just his is a lefty and mine's not. So, all right. So I grabbed myself a beer and I'm ready to dive into this, fellas. So what we've got is, first thing, let's just look at the lineup real quick. We have a Maker's Choice Stinger XL, Maker's Choice Veloz. Both of these are lefties. Actually, the first three are lefties. This is a Veloz that was done between, it was a collab with Chavez, Ramon Chavez. Matt's Maker's Choice Stinger, Spinner. This is the Gapo collab. And his has a different milled pocket clip than mine. His is in Damascus. We have his Mordax that has been buoyed, and I said it was a, since it's a Geiger buoy Mordax, it was a Gibudax. That's a righty. My Maker's Choice Master Blaster and my Maker's Choice Spinner. And you can see each one, let me get his spinner, each one of the spinners, each one of these Maker's Choice knives, you're never going to see two that are exactly the same. The reason being is all of this that you're seeing is all hand engraved. So let's go back and look at this one. So everything on these were embellished and hand engraved by Elliot with a Dremel in his shop. There's some acid etching on this blade that came out really cool. This one was actually one of the few lefties that I did not want to let go home. I wanted to keep it for a few more days. So that's a Stinger XL Maker's Choice. So you can see there's some definite intricate work that's been done on these. Here's a good close look at that Veloz. All of that hand engraved. Hand engraved, and it, when they did this run, Elliot was looking at creatures because Ramon lives in the desert. And so he was looking at desert animals that would be cool. And all the Veloz had these 6-shooter thumb studs. Let's see here. Once again, the spinner, all of that detail work hand engraved. And Elliot does the hand engraving and all that work and then gives it off to Christopher, who does all the amazing colors that are no way in any shape or form going to come out on video. But you can see this pearlescent, all the anodizing that Elliot does, or Christopher does, is just fucking amazing. And then my favorite Mordax ever. This is a Geiger inspired buoy Mordax, and I'm not gonna lie, one of the sharpest knives. The angle and everything on this led to this knife having such a fine edge that it is frightening. I've never had N690 just get that stupid fine of an edge on it. Usually there's some, it doesn't feel as fine as some of the other steels, but yeah, this one I really like. This is the best Mordax I've seen. And then, like I said, you guys have seen mine. It's all the same thing. See? This is all hand engraved, but you get the same knife. So you're not like, if you step down and get one of their standard knives, you're not getting anything worse. You're just not getting the embellishments. And then, of course, you guys have probably seen it. There is my spinner. my Maker's Choice spinner, and it's made to look like a marlin. This one was one of the ones that was easy to identify. This run, Elliot went with a nautical theme of things, and so mine looks like a fish. This one, I always looked at this one and I kept thinking mother of pearl, like the insides of clamshells and things like that. So let me turn around and we're going to talk about just some of the things that make me think that other companies, when they call their knives customs, are not truly customs. So now, to my point as to say that Elliot and Chris at Ferrum Forge are not the only ones that are doing Maker's Choice style knives. The way they did it was they would engrave these and no one had a choice as to what knife they were getting. Basically, they got shuffled up. The boxes got shuffled up. Stuff got put in boxes. They didn't know what knife was going where, and they got shuffled up and they got sent off. So the fact that I see other companies that put up a knife that's, and I'm gonna say it out right now, Marfione Customs. Well, to me, a custom knife versus a Maker's Choice is, I'm gonna call you, I'm gonna get with you, we're gonna talk about exactly what you want. Blade shape, blade style, blade finish, handle material, whether you want any embellishments, and we're gonna hammer those details all out before I ever start on the knife. That's a custom. It is a custom made to order knife for a customer. Pretty much done working for the day because I started early, so I'm gonna have a beer. So the caveat to that is, if you make a knife like Marfione Custom, you see Marfione Customs go up. I didn't order that knife that way. I bought that knife because it was one of the production models that they had, and Anthony took it and just went to town on it. And I'm not gonna lie, he does a good job on certain things. The way that the mirror polish and things are done, a lot of his elaborate engravings and things like that that are done on machine, he hand grinds those blades. There's a lot of work that goes into it, but that's still a Maker's Choice. He decided how that knife's gonna look at, like when it goes out and goes up for sale. There was no customer input, which that's what makes something a custom. When the customer has an input on it. So that's just my thing on that. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this knife was a gift from Matt and my friend Nico, and they got together on this, and they told Elliot, just go to town, Michael, love whatever. I had no input on this. This was a Maker's Choice. Now, Elliot did show me things on this knife. Said, okay, what do you think about that? You like that? You like that pocket clip? And I couldn't figure out why he kept asking every time I would come up. I'm like, you never ask me my opinion on shit you make? But hindsight being 2020, he was making it for me. So, I mean, are the knives that go out that aren't Maker's Choice any lesser quality? Oh, absolutely not. They're the same knife. This is the same knife, basically, as that other that other Master Blaster. It just has not been modified and customized. So that's kind of where I sit on the whole custom. I don't see a lot of companies making actual custom knives. Like, hey, I want a clip point. I will say, Brian Nadeau is pretty close to being like my idea custom. You tell him what you want. Now, I mean, within reason, like I make my Hornets, and those are custom, but they are done to the specs the customer wants as well as I can deliver. My little neck knives, each one of those is unique and individual. It's not going to be a different shape, but it may have some changes and things like that. That's when I think custom, that's what I want. You pick your color. You pick, do you want a scallop pattern or a rock pattern on the front? Do you want a design in the ceramic? Things like that, that are options that you can customize. So Brian Nadeau does that. And there's other companies that do. The Grimsmo brothers allow you to pick and choose what you want. That's a custom, in my opinion, customized choices and things like that. Chris and Elliot, when you order one of their knives, you're allowed to pick scale patterns. You're allowed to pick whatever anodizing you want, blade colorings, little things. That's customization at its heart right there, is when you have a choice as to what you want done, and you have an options that you're allowed to choose from and make that knife specifically yours, that's a custom. So I would say that Chris and Elliot's, you know, they're the lower base, you have the maker's choice, and then you have the your choice, which is basically you go and pick, you know, whatever finish you want, what handle scale shape, what, you know, design, what color blade, what color ceramic, all those things. I honestly think those are more of a custom knife than these ever were. So options and customization and your ability to choose is the difference between your ability to choose is that difference between a true custom and a maker's choice. Now, would I ever complain about, you know, somebody, you know, they list things the way they want? No, I just think, in my opinion, that's the way it is. So, as I said, guys, this video will go up today on Patreon. This is the start of a new thing. I've been trying to figure out ways to provide a benefit to my Patreons because they pay money. So that's the way it's going to work from now on. When I post a video, it goes up 24 hours prior. So this time tomorrow, this video will go public, and you guys will be able to go in and watch it and enjoy it. Just like the knife sale video that just posted. Well, for you guys, it's going to be, for most of you guys, it's going to be yesterday. That was on the Patreon site for a week before I ever released it and made it a public. So there's just some of those things that I am going to do. You know, they pay me. I have to show some way of appreciating that. And it's just, doing exclusive content on Patreon is just not an option. It takes enough time just to do this. And so I'm going to try and dedicate an hour a day, if possible, to doing my social media stuff that I need to do, that you guys would expect. So I'm going to try and do more Instagram posts, but what might wind up happening is a day like today, like a Wednesday, when I just decide I'm going to get up early, that might be a day where I just do a lot of content and just release it once a week. So I haven't decided yet. We'll see how that works. Today was a pretty late day. I did Graham Razel. There's going to be a video later today about that, I think, if I can get everything cleaned up and get all the invoices set and get paid for the work I did this morning, then I will do a video. But right now I'm just taking a break and doing this video for you guys. So, like I said, you guys, can't tell you how much I appreciate it. We're at the 3,000 subscriber mark. I did put up the video this morning to everybody. The giveaway is live on YouTube. It will be up for a week. August 8th, it will come down and we'll do the review of everything. 1 week. Give everybody 1 week. So I think that's fair. All right, guys. You guys take it easy, and I will see you next time.